Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Fall and Rise podcast. I'm your host, James Brown. And today we have a very interesting episode, one that I've been looking to do for quite a while. A few months ago, we had my guest Kyle Toms on, and he discussed health and nutrition and the things that we put in our bodies affect us. I'm fortunate enough to have Kyle to come back, and it's perfect because he can discuss diet and how it affects our bodies, especially during the age of COVID. So, Kyle, thank you for coming back and welcome.
Oh, thanks a lot, JB. Very glad to be here. Always glad to have your support. Always glad to give you my support. So I see some people who are logging on now. Some people know me. So just want to get this out of the way. I'm a certified nutritional specialist and personal fitness trainer. Hello again, Janice. We see you. um, and I want to start with, in the age of COVID, one of the questions that got posed to me, and we're going to go for about 30 minutes this time. And JB, just try and keep me honest with the time. And then we'll open the floor up to people's personal experiences or personal questions, because last time folks had a lot of questions, we didn't get around to them because we got into just such a lengthy, healthy discussion. With regard to COVID, some folks have been asking me, what's my view on the vaccine? And so I'm not going to tell folks what to do because it's a very personal situation, but I will share my view on what I'm doing and what my family's doing. So the vaccine has come upon us very quickly. We are opting and choosing not to get the vaccine because my view is there are things that we can do on the front end instead of approaching things from the back end. So we're looking for the vaccine, but there's a high percentage of the population that's going to continue to eat the way they do. It's funny that I see all these commercials for foods. People are happy and singing, love that chicken from Popeyes, right? All this stuff. But I don't hear anything about fruits, vegetables, any kind of herbs, any kind of thing that will protect the body on the front end. We're going to eat and live our lives the way we do. And then we want the shot to be the magic bullet. And the vaccine in and of itself, just like the flu vaccine, is not going to be an end-all force field. You know, in its best case scenario, if it works the way it's supposed to, it's going to help prevent more people from catching and spreading. But just like people get a vaccination and they still get the chicken pox, just like people get the flu shot every year and they still get the flu sometimes several times during the year, it's not a force field. One of the best things that you can do is fortify your immune system, because the immune system, we are an adaptive organism, and we live with about 400 different variations of viruses. We commune with them every day. Okay. We don't get sick from them because we're able to fight them off. But the ones that we can't, the 12-hour flu, the 24-hour flu, the 48-hour flu, when you have it for 3 days or 7 days, those are the ones that get through the immune system. If the immune system is not compromised, it can even fight that off. The last time I had the flu was 1999. And I had a temperature for 100, and I had it for 2 days, and my system knocked it out. So when we are doing what is right by the body becomes a partner, a living, willing partner, and it partners with us. But if we're just like in any relationship, if we're not kind of partnering or doing our 50% or 100% of our 50%, then you have an uneven, unbalanced relationship. Same thing with your body. So my concern with the vaccine is the rush and its efficacy. So the efficacy means that they have ethically gone through every step in the medical field to say that this vaccine is good for us. It passes all of our litmus tests and it's ready to go public. My concern over that is you have not had the opportunity to have long range studies. Okay, so even if you're in the lab and you're testing it and you're saying, oh, there's the virus, here's the COVID virus, and we're going to put in this vaccine, and the vaccine has a synthetic protein that's been created that mimics COVID-19. So then the antibodies begin to develop, your white blood cells attack it because it's dressed up like a foe. except you don't really have it, but now you're fortified because the army has come because they thought an intruder was coming. That's the concept behind it. We don't know about the long-term effects because we're kind of like a year into shutdown or close to a year in shutdown, 10 months. So we don't know what it's going to, the effect, if there will be an adverse effect in another 10 months, in a year, in 2 years, in 3 years. Also with that, for me and my family, the COVID has already begun to mutate. I don't know if folks have heard, but there has been a mutation kind of starting in England, then in Africa. Now it's been here. We don't even know if the COVID-19 vaccine is going to be able to deal with this mutation, because a lot of times mutations have variations where the medicine or the vaccine is not effective because it has changed. One of the things that is not being talked about by Dr. Fauci, by Dr. Birx, it's very disappointing, is doing things on the front end to undergird and strengthen our immune system. No one is talking about any of the electric foods, celery, cilantro, rosemary, basil, very affordable things, fresh, that you can buy from the market, preferably your farmer's market. These things have antibacterial properties. Taking a spoonful of a mono unsaturated fat, like extra virgin cold pressed olive oil or coconut oil in the morning and in the evening, helps fortify the body. Coconut oil is antibacterial and has antiviral properties. So like we're missing things. We're not getting the full information, but we're getting pushed toward living our lives the same way. Popeyes, KFC, Kentucky Fried Chicken, like none of that is changing. And subliminally, it makes us think that, oh, if I'm hungry, I'm just going to go pick up a Chick-fil-A sandwich, or I'm going to go pick up a Popeye sandwich or a Wendy's sandwich. And these things are doing detriment to our system. So there's always, I'm sure everyone has heard the saying, follow the money. So the vaccine is going to come free, but Pfizer, Moderna, and all the others will be charging the government. So again, we're back to that rush to push this out. There are so many things that you have to be careful of. And I'm just saying, take your time, do your research. Anytime, ask me a question, get it to JB. JB can get it to me, get it to me. I'll give my phone number. You can call or text, before the end of the show. And if you have questions, I'll try and help out anybody, try and help out the community. But think about the things that you are doing on the front end to fortify your system. Joe reached out to me and asked me some questions, and he's seen, I don't know, Joe, if you weren't comfortable, when we open it up to express, but he's seeing positive results just from a couple little changes that I gave to him that he can help, with his health. I saw Janice, she had posted that she's doing some changes and kind of had some healthy food on. Like, that's where we need to gear our mind towards, because we are kind of in this, JB and I were talking about this slow motion suicide, or this paying the assassin to kill us slowly. Slow motion suicide is JB, he coined that phrase, and I coined the phrase of paying the assassin to kill us slowly, because it's not immediate. You're not going to eat the Chick-fil-A sandwich and drop over, but over time, we're getting ailments from the bun, from the way the meat is processed, from everything that is in the sandwich, everything that's in the big gulp. All of these things are not only are they not good for us or anyone, but they're targeted toward Black and brown communities, which is of great concern to me, and I'm sure to others. We were saying in an affluent neighborhood, you can't get Chick-fil-A. You have to go down the road out of town. You can't get Wendy's in an affluent neighborhood. You have to go, but in our neighborhoods, you can get access to the alcohol. You can get access to the Chick-fil-A sandwiches, to the Wendy's sandwiches. And if you ever notice these commercials, this is how deep it goes. I just want folks to know that it has been scientifically documented that certain colors speak to us and connect us to hunger urges. Red, yellow, and green. And if you think about McDonald's, KFC, Wendy's, Chick-fil-A, there's some combination of yellows and reds predominantly, and then Sonic, green and yellow. So they've actually taken the time to really scientifically look at what's going to push urge buttons for us. And then when you over season things with salt or sugar, it speaks to our bodies because our bodies know that we need sugar and we need sodium. But what happens in these foods is it's an overabundance. And so we actually end up ODing, overdosing on these foods we like. When you eat the potato chip, it is extra salt on it. And that speaks to our body. Because if you're incapacitated, you're in the hospital, they're going to give you an IV drip. And in that IV drip is going to be your essentials: glucose, which is sugar, sodium to balance for your pH balance, and water, because we all need water. We're 75% water, and a few extra B vitamins and C vitamins in there. So those are the essentials. So when we eat the honey bun, or we eat this, whatever kind of cake or brownie, when we drink from the Slurpee, when we have our hardcore alcohol, it breaks down into sugar, and we want more and more and more. It becomes addictive. And this is all you have to do is kind of recondition yourself, because you didn't come out of the womb asking for honey buns or French fries or any of those things. They were given to us as treats because it becomes part of our culture. And I remember when I was a kid, we'd go to the circus or we'd go to some show. That's when we got McDonald's. It was a treat. Wasn't all the time. And what happened was they started inventing the convenience. I call it the inconvenience of convenience, where you have the drive-through. Now you can get it anytime. So what happens as we start to get our own money when we are 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, we treat ourselves. We go through the drive-through and we treat that's what's in the back of our mind. We're treating ourselves to when it used to be a gift to us for being good, for having a family event, to go to see a show. And now you can get it anytime you want. Now, what we pass down to our kids is, I'm busy, I don't feel like cooking, so let's just go grab a Happy Meal. And so they'll be doing the same thing. And so what has happened from the time when I was a kid getting those foods to what's in them now? I mean, the sandwiches, I can remember they were very small. French fries, yes, I'm dating myself, but I don't care, because I either say, my other motto is, you either die young or you live long. So I'm in for longevity as long as possible with quality of life. I don't want to be 99 in a walker. Like, I want to be able to run like I can now. Could right now, JB, Joe, Corey, and I, like, we could get 2-on-2 right now. I'm ready to go, because that's how my body feels. Like, I'm ready to go. We could just play the sport. So it's very important that we understand what's being dictated to us and how we go through this kind of autopilot sleepwalk phase into what we want and everything to be quick and easy. So we want the quick and easy way to get well. We want the quick and easy vaccine. I just want to jump back to the size of fries, which was really about my hand, everyone can see is kind of cupped and about this high. That used to be fries, McDonald's fries. It used to come in a little white bag with an M on it. It was no bigger than this. And then we've seen over years where it grew and grew and grew and grew and grew, because sugar is in the fries, 16 different preservatives are in the French fry, which is why if in the back of your car or a friend's car on the floor, you move the mat and you find some French fry from like months or years ago, it's mummified. It won't go bad, which is different from a pure food like honey that never spoils, or coconut oil, which never goes rancid, because those are antiviral, antibacterial properties, natural. But when you are deep frying in the 16 preservatives of McDonald's French fries, you're mummifying it. And then we're eating this mummified food. And then when we start getting to about 30, 35, after 30 years of eating this, something's wrong with our liver. This hurts, that hurts, something begins to go. because we're slowly taking that push pin, dipping it in arsenic, and we're paying the assassin to kill us slowly, not to drop dead immediately, but slowly. And if we want to slow down what we've been doing, then here comes the pharmaceutical company with whatever it is we need. Restless leg syndrome. I'm amazed at what comes out. The next commercial, I'm like, restless leg syndrome? Anything that you can push onto people to think that something is wrong with them, there's a pill for it. And the side effects are half the time of the commercial itself. You want to feel better, take this. It also can cause diarrhea, stroke, death. And I'm like, wow, if you just key in when they speak really fastly, really quickly, you key in on the side effects of what they're telling you, it's like, why would I even want to take that? Now, for folks who are on medication, I'm not saying don't take it. You have to talk to your doctor. And if you're going to start a journey of getting off meds, then your journey has to take a little bit of time, because you didn't just get to where you had to take medication. It took some time. If you want to get off your medication, you have to get your levels up, build up your alkalinity, build up your electric level, your current, and you'll see your numbers start to drop, and then you'll be on your way. So I was talking to JB earlier, and a couple of years ago, I went back to school. And so I have young kids. So by the time homework is done and everybody's washed up and everybody goes to bed, then I would start doing my work, which meant that I would sit on my dinner. And so I have the laptop, I'm doing my work, and I'm working till 2, 3 in the morning. And then I'm getting up to go to work at 6:45. I'm doing this like every day. I went for my annual physical checkup, because I always do that, which I urge everyone to do. And they said my triglycerides and my sugar levels were high. And I'm like, that can't be right. All I do is eat clean. And you're like, it can't. They said, well, let's talk it out. Talk about what you eat. Talk about how you exercise. Talk about what's going on. So then we were able to surmise that I'm eating on my dinner. I am sitting. I'm overstressing myself. I'm getting less sleep. I'm running myself down, because I was going back to school. My workouts were nothing but push-ups in the morning. And that was it. So I said, okay, even though I'm eating clean, at the end of the day, a calorie is a calorie is a calorie. So what are you doing with those calories, and how are you partnering those calories with physical activity? I had to remind myself, I had to speak to myself and say, it's never just diet. It's never just exercise. Okay. It's the two together. They partner together. So when people just diet to go to that reunion, to go on that cruise or whatever it is, you almost always see them later blow back up, because they yo-yo from it, because you're not going to be able to maintain what you were doing for that specified amount of time to be able to get yourself in that condition physically. If people are just exercising and you are just lifting and you're bulking up and you look like Superman, or the folks, the actor Michael Clark Duncan, he was huge. He was like a Hulk, right? But inside, his body was compromised. So he would eat burgers or what have you, and then just go, I'm just going to lift it out. Well, your the outward appearance is good, but inside, other things are happening. So it's very, very important to have the knowledge base to be able to say, okay, whatever I'm doing, diet, lifestyle wise, I have to make sure that there is physical compulsion in there also, that there's physicality that's happening. And it doesn't mean lifting weights. I tell folks, some folks tell me, I don't like weights, Kyle. And a client will tell me, I really don't like, yes, the dude from the Green Mile, right? Michael Clark Duncan. Exactly, Joe. Thank you. Just so you can get a visual and know how muscular he was. But he died young, of a heart attack about 8 years ago. So I tell people, an aerobic workout, get playlists of 5 of your favorite songs, your jams. Whenever you hear them, you have to move. For me, it would be Michael Jackson, Prince, Shaka Khan, I'm Every Woman. It's like certain things, when I hear it, I got to move. If you get 4 or 5 songs together, you've done 20, 25 minutes of an aerobic workout, just dancing to your jam. That's the easiest way to kickstart a way to become physical. So I tell folks that all the time, especially when they tell me I don't like to run, I don't like to jog, I don't like the spin cycle on the bike. I say, okay, good. Do me a favor. Get a playlist together. 4 to 6 of your favorite songs. Hands down, from childhood, from back when you were going in the club, whatever it is, Follow Me, Percolate, whatever it is. Get your playlist together. And when you are moving like that to that playlist, you're doing an aerobic workout. Very simple. And you're enjoying yourself at the same time. If you have a partner, you can dance with your partner. You have kids, you could dance with your kids. If not, you could just dance with yourself and think about the times you were going in the club or reenacting the Remember the Time video, whatever it is, and you can get moving. And then you can start getting into things like yoga stretching to get oxygen into the muscle fibers and into your tendons and into your ligaments, which help you, even with my exercising. Every so often, from playing football and from playing basketball, and I used to, like Dennis Rodman, just dive on concrete and fall, anything for the game, anything to get the possession. Well, I ended up herniating 2 discs. And every so often, my back would go out and it would be debilitating for like 2 days. And I couldn't understand it again. I'm like, I eat a certain way, I'm exercising, I'm playing basketball, I spar boxing, I'm playing football, I like all this stuff. Like, how's my back? How does it keep going out? So we found out I had the herniated disc. So then I got to stretching and doing yoga, which strengthens my vertebrae. So the muscles around the vertebrae are strengthened from doing yoga stretching, getting oxygen, carrying nutrients to my ligaments, to my tendons, to the muscles. And the last time I had an episode with my back going out was 3 years ago. Hasn't happened since. Every morning I do yoga stretches. Every morning I try to get in those push-ups. If I do nothing else, I do that. And throughout the day, I'll just do a yoga seal pose. I'll do things to like just strengthen the core area. Because you strengthen your back, you're strengthening the front of your core. And sometimes we'll focus on just crunching, but we don't focus on the back. So the transverse abdominis muscle is like a girdle that goes horizontally around your stomach and your waistline. And we don't pay a lot of attention to that. So when you strengthen that by doing planks, when you strengthen that by doing what they call Russian twist, either with a medicine ball or lightweight, going from side to side horizontally, you start to pull in that stomach and then tighten the back as well. And then your core is stable. So those are just a few things that are Larita saying she did yoga for the first time. Best thing she could have done for her back. Absolutely. I same thing. Right. That's what I'm saying. Same thing with me. Best thing I could have done for my back. No surgery, no, nothing invasive. Start going within or else you go without. So I started going within and then I was able to fortify myself in a way that I had a cousin who had back problems, and I was talking to her, and she ended up doing surgery, and that was her position. I mean, that she took, and that's fine. But she is restricted in what she can do with the surgery. So you pay all this money, it goes to the surgeon, and you get, okay, so now you can walk, you can go up the steps, but I don't know. For me, I want to get on my bike. I want to ride. I want to run. I want to play basketball. I want to play football. I want to box, hit my heavy bag. Like, there are things that I want to do, and I want to do that until the battery runs out. And whatever age that is, it's 60, 70, 80, 90. I just want to be able to have known that I was enjoying my body and moving and feeling good. And I wasn't dependent on pills and things like that. So that's really the crux of what I want to tell folks is think about how you can improve your immune system now. Everybody is online. I guess you're feeling pretty good right now this morning. So I certainly hope you are. Think about what you can do now before you get sick, before you get ill, before you get a flu, before you get a this or some other ailment. What can you do now to strengthen your system? Even if you decide, which is your choice and your right, to get the vaccine when it is available, what can you do to partner with your body? Like, don't just be dependent on a vaccine. Don't just be dependent on a medication. And don't think that you're locked into medication, because I work with clients all the time, and you can just see where you start doing things, and all of a sudden the blood pressure goes down. You don't need the blood pressure medication anymore because your blood pressure went down. Your AC level or your blood sugar level started dropping, so you don't need to go on that. I wasn't even diabetic when I had this experience I was sharing with all of you about my numbers rising, and the doctor came in with a prescription. And she said, well, you can start with this. And I'm like, what is this? And she's like, well, that's so, you don't get to becoming diabetic because if you're approaching the pre-diabetic stage. And I'm like, aren't we like way, way ahead of ourselves? I'm not there. You're saying my numbers are high. I say, okay, you know what? Let's reconvene in 90 days. And let's see where my numbers are. And let's see, well, by then the numbers have gone down, and then the numbers are reading normal, in the normal range. But the doctor, God bless her, would have had me on a prescription, and the prescription wouldn't have been for one time. That's right. I see. Yeah, that's the mentality that I've heard for years. Yeah. It wouldn't have cured me then. I would have been dependent on the medication. So it's how are we and what are we doing to help ourselves first? And even if you do get on a medication, do these other things, because you can change your biological structure, the components in your body, to actually be able to heal yourself. That's what we're made for. You get cut, you wash the cut off. You wash it off with soap and water, right? And then you apply some direct pressure and the bleeding stops. Okay? And then you start to get a little scab. It's your natural Band-Aid. And then after that, the scab falls off, and underneath is new skin. We're made to heal ourselves. We're made to. We're hardwired for it. But we're constantly marketed towards what we can do, what we can take, and then still eating bad fuel for our bodies that help keep us sick or in a dependent, debilitated status.
Kyle,
Yes.
going with that, there's actually a few questions that I had
Yep.
regarding these things before we even continue and move it over to
Yeah.
Q&A.
Yeah.
Because we spent a lot of time talking about COVID, and
Yeah.
there's certain after effects of COVID, because I know a lot of people that have had COVID, they've had respiratory issues, heart issues, and other types of issues. So let's just say that someone has had COVID and they're starting to suffer from respiratory issues, or they know someone that's suffering from respiratory issues. What should they be eating to help their respiratory system recover?
First thing you want to do is go with greens. Just remember when we talked about the color of establishments that use green, think of greens as pulling you toward health. So your celery, cilantro, rosemary, fresh basil. Get an iron supplement. Why? Because we are electrical conductors, and iron partners with electricity. And with iron, you are getting oxygen. So if you're suffering from respiratory issues, you may have to look at your iron levels and get more iron into your body. And if you are doing things like drinking alcohol, if you are smoking, you are depleting iron and vitamin C out of your body. Depletes it. Vaping, smoking, hard alcohol. I'm not saying don't ever drink, because I don't want all you people coming after me. What I'm saying is, think about how you are doing it and when you are doing it. Think about your recovery. Think about how often you do it. I was with a coworker, and she was like, this weekend, let me tell you, I'm getting drunk. It's like, didn't you just get drunk last weekend? She's like, every time I drink to get drunk. I'm like, your goal is to get drunk. And she's like, and then I can't do nothing Sunday, and I just got to rest and sleep and try and get ready to come back to work on Monday. I'm like, okay, I would like for you to look at what is making you have to do that every week. And I know we have rough weeks. I know there's stress. I know you're trying to take care of kids, and I know there's bills and everything, but something is happening where you are self-medicating on the weekend to get there, and then you were sick. So then they're out often because they're sick, the flu, then they run out of sick time, and then they're just getting a cut pay because you don't have any more time. So now you're off without pay. Like, all of these things are leading to that. So respiratory, you want to get into exercising to command your body to accept the challenge to take in more oxygen. And then you want to increase your iron. and you want to increase your greens, collard greens, mustard greens, like I said, the celery, cucumbers, carrying water and iron to keep that electric current high.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Now, another issue that we've noticed. Oh, actually, before I skip ahead, are there certain things that people should not be consuming that would affect their respiratory system?
So, excellent question. Anything that is heavy laden to sugar or will break down and become sugar, anything that is based off of white wheat processed flour, any chicken breast, any eggplant parmesan, any chicken nugget, any pastas, any white rice, any sandwich buns, hamburger buns, hot dog buns that have white processed wheat, because the wheat that grows in the field is not white. Again, we just have to connect our dots and we'll go, oh yeah, oh yeah. They take the brown wheat, they process it, they bleach it in a bleaching agent that's not much different from the bleach we do our white clothes with. It strips the brown fiber sheath from the wheat. They process it. They'll add some synthetic vitamins. That's why if you read your breads, it always will say enriched wheat, because they had to enrich it because it lost nutrients in the process. So all of those things break down into carb, glucose, sugar, and that's going to have an adverse effect on you with your respiratory system. You also want to increase your water. A lot of us aren't into water. I don't like the taste of water, I hear often. I'm like, water has no taste. Unless you want to put a little bit of ginger, fresh ginger in it, which I highly recommend, and cucumbers, flavor it. But it's all about what you are conditioned to and how you can recondition and reprogram yourself. So I think someone said something about dairy. Excellent question. Here's what I say about dairy. We're not cows. We are a species that drinks a mucus process product from another species. We don't even continuously drink mama's milk through the rest of our age, but we get milk from a cow. And we're not cows and we're not calves. Moreover, the calf, as it goes through adolescence, no longer goes to the mother cow for milk. The bull no longer goes to its mother cow or its female counterpart to milk. Milking is one of those things that are marketed to us to tell us what we need. The cow itself, the mama cow that's milking the calf, she's not going to her mother or some other female cow to milk. She's getting milk from the plants and the greens. It's where she's getting the calcium to produce the proper level of mucus for a cow. Well, cows are bigger than us. They weigh more than us. That mucus is not meant for us. Mama's mucus in our milk is made for us. And then after that, we don't need it anymore. We don't go to mom or we don't go to our significant other and say, can you squeeze me off a little? I need some milk for my cereal. But why are we going to cows? So that's a whole nother story about when the settlers came here. They killed off all the buffaloes. They were almost extinct. There were still cows. They saw animals were drinking cow milk. So they started marketing to us, hey, and then next thing you know, where's your milk mustache? Got to have milk, all of that marketing, but you don't need milk.
Yeah, yeah. Next question, again, tied into COVID. Another issue that people have been having has been issues with their heart.
Yes.
Either people that have heart issues are having issues. They're having worse complications with COVID, or there are even people that have survived COVID and they're starting to get heart issues. What can you suggest for people to fortify their heart?
So what goes through the heart? So we're going to kind of like deconstruct. What goes through the heart is blood. So what's in the blood? So again, we want to get the iron, we want to get vitamin C and vitamin D. We don't hear a lot about vitamin D. It's as important, if not more important than vitamin C. So 730,000 people had heart conditions last year. That's annually. That number's been pretty steady. We have 330 some odd million people in the United States of America. If you take the continent of Africa, Okay, the continent made up of 54 countries. They don't have the heart condition numbers that we do because they're not eating the same things the same ways that we do. And they're getting sunlight. If you take the longest living folks are in Okinawa, Japan. They're getting sunlight. They're eating differently than we are. If you go even to East India and look at the spices and herbs that they're eating, they don't have the heart condition. They don't have the cancer rates that we do. It is our food, folks. And it's what we're doing and what we're not doing that leads to these complications. So you want to have beets for your heart condition. You want to have the iron. You want to have the vitamin D. Africans in East India, they're getting sunlight all the time. And you hear that you need to get 20 minutes, 30 minutes of sunlight. No, for folks who are Black and brown, we need 45 minutes to an hour of daylight. And if you can't get that, then you need a supplement of vitamin D to help you with that. And again, our cancer rates in our in our communities, Black and brown, look at how our numbers are rising and troubled by diabetes, by heart condition, by high blood pressure. We need that vitamin D. And if we're not going to get it in the winter, because the days are shorter, right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Then the sunlight's not there as much, and we're not outside as much because it's cold. So you need the vitamin D to help supplement for the time when you're just running to the store, getting some sunlight, or going in the backyard to get something. So we need that vitamin D. You need beet juice for your heart. You need okra. You can either get fresh okra, split it, and then cut it, into little kind of like dices, and you can put it in water overnight, put a paper towel or saran wrap over it, drink it first thing in the morning, or you can cook it, or I would prefer steaming. But if you get okra in your system, that gel, that is such a healing property that one of my clients who's a friend of mine, we started doing that. He had type 1 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes, you need an insulin injection. He started doing that every day. And in 9 months, he went to the doctors and he did not need to have injections. Part of that story is he fell off, he gained a bunch of weight, he went back to smoking cigarettes, his diabetes came back. So again, what are we putting into these machines to make it run optimally? Do the same thing I tell folks that you do on the outside. To all the ladies, not now because it's COVID, but when you were getting your hair done, like every 3 weeks, when you're getting your nails done, when you were getting whatever you're doing to your hair, either getting it braided, getting it touched up with the locks, getting tints, getting whatever, the touch-ups, the same thing you're doing with that. Guys, the same thing you're doing with your Jordans and making sure nobody steps on them. The same thing we're waxing our cars, the same way we're making sure our oil gets changed. We got to do that with us. We have to do that with us. We put the focus and attention on all these other things. I want my house to be clean, spotless. I got to clean it every Saturday. Okay, clean us too, right? Detoxify yourself. Put clean food into yourself. Just like the same attention we do other things, just put it into us.
Yeah, thank you. Now, there's something that you spoke about a little bit earlier about people that drink. Some people that are drinking too much, going out to get drunk, and you ask the question, what in your life is making you drink this much? Right. Now, that's actually tying into my next question. One of the things that's happening with COVID, especially with people being home, being unemployed, losing a lot of people, is that they're starting to get depression and anxiety. Are there any foods that you can recommend that would help to fight depression and anxiety? And are there any foods that you can think of that cause depression and anxiety?
So let's start with the healing.
Okay.
And that would be things that are highly oxygenated. So your berries, blackberries, blueberries, strawberries. Strawberries also low glycemic index. So that's very good to have. Your nuts. Again, we want mono unsaturated fats. Those are the fats. So almost every day we have avocado in my family. So I have like a half or a whole in the morning. And then in the evening, we'll either have it sliced with dinner or it might be mixed with guacamole. That's a powerful, powerful plant. Okay. It has high in monosaturated fats. It's nutrient rich calories with excellent healing properties. So everybody should be having avocado every day. You should have a mushroom, either portobello or button or lion's mane or oyster mushrooms. Check your farmer's market for these mushrooms. Get them and have them every day. Have them fresh, have them steamed, saute them. Um, those are two highly powerful things, along with okra. Don't sleep on okra. And for folks who are also suffering with high sugar levels or high blood pressure, go to the farmer's market, get the sprig of aloe vera, cut the aloe vera on the sides, take the pricks out. And again, the insides of that will help your high blood pressure, will help your diabetes, will help your overall well-being, because what happens is you get oxygen into your system and nutrients into your system. It changes your creativity. When I talked about being ready to go and play basketball, football, boxing, sparring, whatever like that, it's because that fuel is in my system, keeps you from being depressed. Again, your heavy carbs, your processed carbs, okay, those are the things that are going to lead to, anytime you're in an overabundance of sugar, you're off your pH level balance. What that means is you are 7 or below on the spectrum of a pH scale. 7's neutral. Okay, so you want to be 7 plus. Anywhere from 7 to 9, you're in a state of healing and high alkalinity. Anything below that, you are acidic. As you are acidic, think about your car is not going to, if cars had feelings, it's not going to feel well or run well if you never change the oil, because the oil is dirty. It needs a radiator flush. Okay, it needs all these things. But if you're getting your vehicle serviced correctly, it's going to run fine for you. Same thing for us. So if you do those things for you, and again, I'm going to go back to the playlist, that even if you're not dancing and you are into just playing music while you work out, either way, get that playlist that takes you back to that time when you first heard that song, when you were hanging out with your friends and your family, when you were going to the club, because that's going to release endorphins in you and make you feel better. And we need that now. That was an excellent question, because as you eat more greens and get more plant-based, even if you don't go vegan, if you increase and become more plant-based, we have 1 or 2 days where we have no meat. And then when we do have meat, we go to the halal butcher or to the kosher butcher, because the animal's not killed with shock. It's killed with a razor against the jugular. It runs around, it gets sleepy, it lays down, it falls asleep. Juxtaposed to a McDonald's hamburger, when the cow is led in the slaughterhouse and a hook goes in the cadaver and they lift the cow up and they split it and the cow sees its insides coming out, and then it releases uric acid on the inside and the outside. And uric acid is directly related to stress levels. Again, you look at America and we have the highest stress levels in the world. We're never in the top 20 of the most happiest countries overall because our stress levels are so high. And when you're eating beef and we're eating chicken that has been killed through an inhumane slaughter process, that animal went through stress and you're eating that stress. We are what we eat. So think about getting more plant-based. First thing in the morning, having water, having a mono unsaturated fat, like olive oil, a tablespoon of it, or coconut oil, settling yourself down with some tea, and then getting into like a fruit, oatmeal breakfast, not so much the fried eggs and the sausages and the bacons and the things like that. Those are things that are going to weight us down, and we're going to feel that emotionally, as opposed to when you lift. And you hear people who go plant-based, not just me. Kevin Hart just went plant-based. Chris Paul went plant-based. Chris Paul, every year, he couldn't finish out a year. Last year, he went all the way to the bubble, took a mediocre team all the way into the playoffs. He said he plant-based, he feels completely different because you're eating plants that are live, and you're alive. We are a living product. So we need living enzymes in us. When we're eating chips and buns and hamburgers and dead meat, no enzymes in that are living. And so it's weighing us down. It will affect your emotional level. And the opposite of that, when you are eating things that are plant-based, lighter, nutrient rich, healthy fats, your emotionality levels change.
Wow. So for those of you that are stressed out and always wonder why you're stressed or depressed or have this anxiety, because that's the biggest market now is everyone's stressed out. You need a pill for your distress. You need a pill for your depression. You need a pill for your emotional issues. Uh, Especially with a lot of people being home with COVID or dealing with what they're dealing with in terms of COVID. Please pay attention to your diets. I'm talking to myself as well. But Kyle, there's actually something I kind of stole from one of your social media pages, and it touches on something you say about we need to flush our systems.
Yeah.
This is an actual picture that I stole from your page, but it's very interesting, and I'll read it out because this show is actually going to be going to people in a few other countries as well. So this isn't just us in the room.
Right.
It says if you're taking in 3 meals a day, which adds up to 21 meals in a week, and you've only had one bowel movement a day, that means 14 meals are backed up in your colon.
JB, so important. Yeah. Great question. Your immune system begins in your intestinal tract, your GI tract, gastrointestinal tract. That's where your immune system is birthed. You need probiotics, which is bacteria. It's good bacteria that fights off all the bad stuff. If you think about when you have a baby and that baby is newborn, almost after every meal or feeding, that baby has to be changed, right? Because the whole tubular structure, the gastrointestinal structure is clean. It's coming out pure. It's just hitting the earth. And then as we start eating things that clog us up, white breads, pastas, all of these things, we don't move as much because that tube is compromised. So yes, I recommend a flush like every 2 months. And one of them you can get is Super Colon Cleanse. I do stand by that product. You can get it in the Vitamin Shop. I'm sure you can get it online on Amazon as well, but I know for a fact it's a Vitamin Shop because I get it delivered to me. And every 2 months, I take that for a few days and flush yourself out. I also, for me, and I'm on a little extra sometime, but I take like 5 shakes of cayenne pepper and I put it in my water every day. And cayenne, high iron, high electrical current, and also creates probiotics while cleaning out your system. So that's very important. Growing up Trinidadian, I used to eat like, my child started switching my weight. I was just reading someone's comments. For the folks in the islands, and especially Trinidad, my wife's from Trinidad. And when my mother-in-law cooks food, she does it kind of the earthy, pure way. But what is concerning to me is Jamaica, Trinidad, Tobago. Certain places are starting to get very westernized in their foods, and they have the really good food. My mother-in-law makes this green seasoning out of all of these great plants, and puts it in with the food, and you could just feel the health come into you when you're eating it. So it's very, very important. I said Jamaica. No, I was just saying about, I'm answering the Diva's question I see. No, I was just saying, I've seen parts of Jamaica that has become westernized, and that's too bad because we don't want to lose the culture of the islands. We don't want to lose the culture of whatever country or continent it's naturally attuned to, because we are not setting a good example here. There are many countries that won't even accept our food because it doesn't pass their test. Recently, we tried to open Subways in Ireland, and they said we have to change the name of the bun in Subway. They can't call it a bun because they said it registers as too much sugar, same sugar that would be in a cake. So they're not going to allow it to be listed as a sandwich with a bun. They can't call it a bun in Ireland. They won't let you do it because they don't want to mislead people. You got to be able to know what you're getting. And we're misled here, unfortunately. So it's about finding out the truth and how we can reprogram ourselves.
Definitely. Now, I have two more questions. Super colon cleanse, got it. I have 2 more questions, and then we're going to open it up because I know people have a million questions. Uh,
Mm.
one of them is going to be about cancer rates, especially in the Black community. It seems like it affects Black people more adversely than other races.
Yeah,
Can you dig into why
yeah.
it affects us more than
I'm gonna
others?
try and do it. Yeah, I'm gonna try and do it as quickly and thoroughly as I can. So we have to go all the way back to when we were enslaved. We were getting the worst foods, and we were getting foods that had to be kept for a while. So it's salt preserves. So when we're getting things with fat and we're getting things with salt, dandelion tea is excellent. Mulberry, sorrel, absolutely excellent. When we're getting foods like that back from slavery, and then that's all you kind of know how to cook, and it gets passed on as to quote unquote soul food. And we start cooking greens with a lot of salt. Um, that becomes problematic. A lot of things that are in our diet that were passed down, and we cook the way our mothers cooked, the way grandma cooked. And that can be problematic because we didn't have the nutritional information, the nutritional care given to us to really understand what's happening with the foods that we eat. So we're affected in the Black and brown community because yellow rice, white rice. So many people told me, Kyle, I don't like brown rice. I don't like quinoa. I'm like, I get it. Season your brown rice or your quinoa with garlic powder, not garlic salt, onion powder, not onion salt, a little bit of black pepper, maybe some ginger. It will absorb the flavor when you cook your brown rice, your wild rice. That's the healthiest rice, wild, high electrical current, and your quinoa, and it will take on that flavor. Because white rice, you don't like the taste of white rice. You like the fact that it has no taste. It's been stripped. That's why it's white. So it's been stripped, and that's why when you get out of the Chinese container and you turn it upside down, it clumps in the same shape. All that stickiness and all of that is what's clogging us why we can't detox. So yellow rice, the same way. I know it's part of our culture, like where you go, you have some paella or what have you, but we have to change some things if we don't want the effects of it in our community. And then the
Okay.
next question, because we want to try to open it up, because I will have a hard stop in a little while.
Okay.
I wanted also just my website is under construction, folks, but I'll be communicating also through JB to let you know when it's up in about a week, probably. But in the meantime, my number is 973. I'll repeat it, 418-4135. So you can text me with questions or what have you. One more time, that's 973-418-4135. And JB has my number if he
Yes.
didn't have time to write it down or something like that. So he can always get it, and he's free to pass it along.
Yeah. And what if people need to email you? Is there an email address that people can use
Yeah.
to email you?
Yes. The abbreviation for captain, C as in car, APTKIEL at AOL.com.
Okay. I have one more question, then we're going to open it up to
Yep.
everybody because I know that you have a hard stop. This was something
Go
that was
ahead.
actually brought up by someone who actually had to log out, but they're logging right back in. People that are dealing with MS, multiple sclerosis. Um,
Yes.
I see a lot of people, and I see it ravaging their body. I have a very good friend of mine who was diagnosed with MS 2 years ago. She's 39 years old, and she's now walking with a walker.
Mm-hmm.
So, what foods would you recommend to someone to first off help to avoid MS, and if you have it, help to fight it or keep you healthy as long as possible?
Okay, good, great question. So what happens with MS is the muscular system starts to atrophy. It no longer is receiving the signal from the brain to stay toned and to be able to function. So you have to get back to that. So one of the things you want to do is you got to get clean. You got to get clean eating. So you want to go mostly plant-based. If you have any meats, you want to go to halal or kosher with the skin off the chicken, because that's a saturated fat. We don't need a lot of saturated fat in our system. We're used to eat.
Oh, Kyle, I think we lost you for a second. I think you froze. Let's give Kyle a couple of seconds to come back on. It's gonna take him a couple of seconds. But so far, is everybody learning a lot? Is everyone taking a lot of notes?
Acid
Kind of
supplements are going to help
okay.
connect the synaptic pathways are like two nerve endings like this, and they send a signal without touching. Okay. In MS, that signal is compromised because the synaptic pathway is damaged. So these certain amino acids help strengthen that signal. So everything I'm moving now, my brain is sending a signal for me to move my hands to do. That's an electrical current. We want to eat electric foods, high alkaline, and we want to take the supplements of simple amino acids to help strengthen that out, along with being able to work out. You have to command the body. So if you're telling the body that I'm just going home after a hard day's work, I'm sitting down on the couch, I'm gonna have dinner, the body's going to be like, okay, shut down. We don't need to be in shape. And then if you go dancing or something, or you run up the steps, you're like, oh my goodness, how did I get so out of shape? You told your body to shut down. You told your body, don't be in tip-top shape. All we're going to do is sit on the couch and watch TV, and then we're going to go to sleep and sleep on the calories of food that we ate. Back to me going back to school when I'm sitting on the laptop after eating. You have to get a burn. Okay, because you're taking in a certain amount of food that you don't need. Some's going to go out through your waste system, and the rest of it needs to go to recharge your body as fuel. If you're just sitting there waiting, the fat cells are going to take in the extra energy because they think their body thinks you're going to use the energy later, and you're just going to keep storing, and get bigger and bigger, weaker. So with MS, you want to go alkaline, high electric foods. You want to get into even the modest way to work out. It could just be getting up and sitting down 20 times a day. Like, start there, command the body that this is what I want you to do. And then the body will be like, oh, we're supposed to be moving. And then when I get these supplements, it can help send the signal. So the signal's received in order for us to move.
Thank you. Now, Kyle, I know that you're pressed for time, so I'm going to open it up for Q&A.
Yeah.
So this is the way that we're going to do it. There's a few people here that are new. The way that we do Q&A is, in order to keep order, is if you have a question, you raise your hand. The way to raise your hand is you go to the more button. When you click more, you hit the more button. Once you hit the more button, there's an option there to raise hand. If that doesn't work, you can type your question in the chat. And if all else fails, you can take yourself off of mute and say that you have a question. So I know
I just want to add to that.
Sure.
Yeah, folks have my number. JB is a good friend of mine. We've known each other for over 10 years, and we're already talking about having, recurring sessions and things like that. Go ahead.
Definitely. So, all right, who has the first question? Oh, that was quick. All right, Larita, you have a question.
Hey, Kyle, good afternoon.
Hi, Larita. How are you?
I'm good. I just wanted you to just possibly go into the properties of good or bad, quote unquote, good and bad vegetables. Like some people don't know, for instance, if they can't consume a lot of sugar, that corn is something that can boost their glucose. They don't know things like that. So can you possibly go into talking about some of those properties?
Right. So corn is high sugar, which you're absolutely correct, Larita. It's also acidic, and so are white potatoes. So if you have an issue with sugar, glucose, A1c levels, think about your French fries, think about corn, and corn is in a lot of stuff. So I always tell people, in all of your food products, read the side or the back, find out the ingredients. The front is nothing more than the commercial, fat-free, sodium-free. They could tell you fat-free or sodium-free. They don't tell you what happens once you consume these foods, what it does in your body. It becomes sugar. So it's and you'll see a lot of corn syrup or corn products or cornmeal that's in a lot of products. So read your labels. The side and the back tells the true story of what's in it. So if you want to get healthy, the healthiest are the green leafy vegetables, the leaf of the celery itself, your collards, your the beet greens, mushrooms. Those are the vegetables that we need to have and eat in high consumption levels of. And stay off of, or at least back away from corn, get educated on what you're eating in case it has a lot of corn, or if it has a potato starch or a tapioca starch, any of those things, it's going to hinder your health.
Okay. Thank you. We had a question from Joe. Joe's question was, does burn fat?
I only heard burn fat. You zapped out for a while.
I'm sorry. Does grapefruit really burn fat?
So grapefruit is good for folks to help. It's the enzymes in grapefruit. So grapefruit, it's a little more, sour. It's not that sweet of a citrus fruit. So its acidic level is low. Its sugar level is low. So that's a very good one to help you with enzymes. If you're having that in the morning, if you're having that after workout, if you're having it before workout, grapefruit is good to go.
Got it. All right. Eva has her hand up. What's the next question?
Hey
Yeah.
there. Thank you so much for this. This is so informational.
Wait,
I
who
have a
was this
question.
one? Hang on, Joy. We got you. It was Queen Diva, and then you. Then
Oh,
we get
I'm
you
so
right.
sorry.
It's all right. It's all right.
But thank you, Joy. We'll be doing it again.
Yeah. Queen Diva, you
Queen
were up
Diva.
next.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi.
It so happened that I'm studying for my exam for RN, and
Oh,
I was reading about some of these things, and we have to be careful though, because some of the healthy vegetables also contradicted if you have certain illness, like or you're taking certain medications. Like if you're on Coumadin, you can't take too many green leafy vegetables. But even though green leafy vegetable is good for you, you understand? So there's certain things contradicted based on the medication and your medical condition. That's what I was trying to say.
yeah, absolutely. And it's a great point. And earlier on, we touched on don't just come off your medication, have
Right.
conversations with your general practitioner that you want to start doing this or incorporate, a more alkaline electric diet and what you're talking about, because your chemical balance sometimes is dependent on your medication.
Correct.
And so now you can change that. Lots of people come off of medication, but
Right.
but it is a process that you have to go through. So that's a very good point, Queen Diva. We touched on it earlier, but thanks for bringing that back. Have a conversation with your nutritionist simultaneously, and or me, with a doctor so that you can kind of work out where you want to go. Some people stay on medication. I have family members and they're like, I know the doctor said to take the pill. I was asking my doctor about some alternative foods and alternative medicines. And we were having a discussion, and honest to God, she said, Kyle, you're telling me more information than we get in the medical field. We don't spend a lot of time on nutrition. I mean, as crazy as that
True.
sounds.
No, it's true.
Right, Queen Diva?
Yeah.
All right, she's
Yeah.
going for
I can
RN.
validate a lot of things you're saying. I could validate it because I've been reading on that. So
Yeah.
you're definitely on point.
Yes.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Joy, you had a question?
Yes, I'm so sorry about that.
Sure, no problem.
Just real quick, how often can we take the super colon cleanse? And the part two is, if there's no movement every day, could there be something else wrong outside of just getting the diet checked?
So wrong is going to kind of be synonymous with diet. There's absolutely, every time you take in food, there's some part of food that you don't need. You're pulling the nutrients out of the matter of, let's just say, an apple. As healthy as an apple is, you don't need the whole apple. Your body's going to take the nutrients of the apple and the rest of it is going to discard. So if you're not going every day, yes, I would like for anyone who's listening to that, please speak to someone. You might need a colonoscopy. You might need a colonic. You might need something as simple as the super colon cleanse, and you can take that up to two weeks or 10 days straight, and then come off of it for 2 or 3 weeks. That should jumpstart your system. But like I said, I do it about every 2 months, and I do it for anywhere from 3 to 5 days, just to make sure you're taking out the trash.
There we go. Legend had a question.
My man, Rob.
Oh, you know it's going to come through, brother.
What's good,
You
partner?
already know.
What's good? It's my tag team wrestling partner.
You already know, bro. You already know. Yeah,
That's
I'll
right.
give you
That's
some
right.
shout outs now. I am proof that work, bro. Yeah, because this man, everybody used to tell me how to lift. Okay, great. Everybody tell me how to jog. Okay. But then I'm looking on TV and I'm like, okay, I know it has to do with eating too. Because sometimes you'll do things and you'll just plateau. So you're basically not getting anywhere. And so I will come up to Kyle because we all used to work together. And after I heard that he was a nutritionist, I'm like, yeah, well, Kyle, I asked him things about eating, dieting. Remember, I even came to you about drinking and like, how does that affect weight? So that's one of the first things he's told me as well. You've told me a lot. And so it's funny because when you practice these things for so many years, because I've known you just as long as you've known James and known both of y'all. After so many years of practicing those same things, sometimes you forget, like, where did you get this from? Because nobody wasn't really on the internet at certain points, and now everybody is. Right. And then I remember, yeah, it was from you. So I definitely want to give you truly thanks, brother. No idea how your knowledge helps me even now.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
and I was talking to Henry.
You have a question.
Okay, go ahead. I just wanted to say that give my love to your sister. And Henry and I are trying to, work with her, but I just wanted to pass that on.
Excellent. Yeah, and tell Henry I said hi to him. I was just talking about it not too long ago.
I will.
So definitely. Yeah. Yep. And the question I had, since I'm a smoothie guy, so what are the, and I'm the type, I load everything in the smoothie. You know, sometimes things don't fit, this, that, whatever. So what do you think are the 5 top things that you should have in not maybe every smoothie, but mostly every smoothie? So and thank you very much, brother. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. Always, brother. Always, always. So the one thing you want to make sure you have is things that are antioxidants. So you want to have your berries. Strawberries are low on the glycemic index. Blueberries, apricots, very good. Apricots are often overlooked. A lot of people sleep on it. Very nutritious, low on the glycemic index. When it is fresh, more so when it's dry, the sugar rises and gets a little more concentrated. But you want to have your antioxidants. You want to have your unsaturated, monounsaturated fat. So that's going to be any of your plant butters, almond butter, walnut butter, hemp butter, pumpkin seed butter, peanut butter, any of those I always have in my smoothie. I'll always have in my cereal. And when I say cereal, my cereal, I saw someone had a question, how many nuts is too much? You'll see your serving sign on the back of your package of nuts. So for some, it's 3/4 of a cup. For some, it's 1/4 of a cup. For some, it might be half a cup. Look at your serving size. Use that to guide you. I also like to put in a dash of Ceylon Cinnamon, Ceylon, also at the Whole Foods and also at the vitamin shop. Ceylon Cinnamon. Why? Because the cinnamon that we usually get, cassia cinnamon, is actually a stale cousin. Ceylon Cinnamon has the medicinal properties that help lower and regulate your blood sugar levels. So when you're working out, either before or after, I also always want to have some cinnamon in there as well. Hemp seeds are also good. I would say any type of either raw coconut or coconut oil, like a tablespoon of that.
Okay. You actually answered 2 questions at once.
Out of what you said, so thank you very much.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Kyle actually answered 3 questions at once for 3 different people. Let's see. Another one is Larita had a question.
Yeah.
She had a 2-parter. Are large amounts of almonds true to be dangerous? And can you go into natural painkillers and anti-inflammatory foods?
So with almonds, if you are eating, say, like more than 7 in a serving, you want to be careful if you're not working out. They're high in protein, and you don't want to overload in proteins because that's a strain on the kidney system. Could be a strain on the liver. So if you are chopping them up or you're having them in something, you want to make sure that you are kind of using the properties and then going back for more. So for instance, Rob works out. Rob the Legend works out. So if he has almonds in his smoothie, or just grabs a handful of them and then goes to work out. Well, after his workout, he's going to be depleted. He can have some more almonds because he's going to replace some of the protein he used to break down his muscle fibers and to repair them. So you have to think about, are you in a state of working out, or are you in a state of just eating healthier and you didn't get to the workout part? Remember, we said they got to merge. You got to be partners. So the balance, Loretta, is key. Yes. So that's what's important about that. So if you are working out with anything, you can have a little bit more because you're burning. But if you're not, then you just want to be attentive to that and maybe get a meal plan, which I do meal plans for folks too. So
Yeah,
Inflammation. Inflammation. Turmeric, effective with black pepper. Piperine is in black pepper. When it partners with turmeric, it becomes a very powerful component. So not just the turmeric alone, the turmeric with a little bit of black pepper. Okay, and also, like I said, with the cayenne pepper in the water, 5 to 7 shakes. It has capsaicin in cayenne pepper. What does that do? Speeds up your metabolism. That's why whenever you're eating something, you know, with cayenne pepper, whatever, you start sweating, you're just sitting there eating and you're wiping your nose or whatever, your metabolism's burning while you're sitting there. So that's good to have if you're trying to kickstart your metabolism and have more energy. And if you are looking to lose weight, get that cayenne pepper in there. Inflammation, also bromelain is another supplement that you can get from a health food store that would also help with inflammation. And again, your aloe vera gel and okra.
Okay. So cherry, cinnamon, and black seed oil. Are those any good for pain or for inflammation?
Cherries, but you have to watch. Don't have too many cherries. And what was the other one? Cherry and
cinnamon and black seed oil.
Black seed oil, excellent. Cinnamon, again, if it's Ceylon, that's the one you want. Seylon, Ceylon cinnamon. It's a little bit more sweeter or lighter flavor than the stale cousin. The stale cousin is good for like baking, just to give you a flavor. But if you want medicinal properties, you want that Ceylon cinnamon.
Okay.
Lower the blood pressure and help lower your AC1 levels as well.
Okay. Next question was from
Marlene. Time for two more, probably.
Two more. Okay. So next question, I have Marlena and Larita. Those are the last two for now.
Hello, everyone.
Hi,
My question is, what are your thoughts on protein shakes? The ones that are, you get from the store that are already prepared.
So protein shakes for me, I like the ones that are plant-based. Raw is a very good brand. Now is a very good brand. The others, please read your labels, because you'll see there's so many additives that are in protein shakes sometimes that it's a lot of byproducts that you don't need. And a lot of them contain sugar, which is going to compromise the body and the health system. We don't want to do that. We want to get our sugar from date sugar, from coconut sugar, and also, Swerve. You can get this online, Swerve, just like you get your Swerve on. It is a polyalcohol based from a plant, and it's 0 calories. That's one of the best sweeteners if you want to use that for cookies, or you just want to make a cake or a pie or something like that, or to use something to like just sweeten your whatever meal you might be eating.
Okay, thank you.
But 0 calories.
Okay, thanks.
I'm actually going to tie into just my personal experiences, and it's going to be quick. I know Kyle has to go, but I myself was taking a protein shake at one point, and I didn't read the ingredients, and it said healthy, and I went to the doctor, and they kept asking me if I was a diabetic because my sugar levels were really high, and they couldn't figure out why.
Yeah.
But my A1C was perfect, and they said, but your sugar levels are through the roof, and it was because of what I was taking. So, all right.
Yes. If you take away anything, folks, take away the reading your labels, the side or the back of the product, not the front. The front is the commercial, just to get you to buy it. Like JB was saying, got a protein, healthy. I'm gonna grab that. See what's in it. It's not always healthy.
Yeah. All right, Larita, we have time for one quick question, the last one.
Okay, yeah. I just wanted, for one, can you just explain what I think you said AC1 levels, if the AC1 levels, is that what you were saying?
Yeah, the A1Cs.
Or A1C.
Right. Right. So your AC levels.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. I have a part two.
Okay, no, so just, okay, so really quickly, all of that kind of leads itself toward becoming either pre-diabetic or diabetes. So your A1C level, you have two measurements. You have your A1C, you have your triglycerides. All that together kind of makes up whatever your sugar level is going to be, and you want things to be balanced. I would liken it to your cholesterol level, right? You have good cholesterol, you have bad cholesterol, right? So your LDL, low density Lipoproteins are the bad cholesterol for you. High density lipoproteins that are it's cholesterol that's good for you, which is what you're going to get from your olive oils and your coconut oils, your avocado oils, and things like that. So, and that's what you want to increase, an avocado in and of itself. So they're all measurables. And again, have your annual physicals, because you can get those numbers printed out for you. And then it's a guide for you to know what to do.
Okay, thank you. And also with, because I started a journey approximately 3 years ago where I chose to do the gastric sleeve. And to be honest, I have only been to the gym once in the last 2 or 3 years. I do more walking than anything. And so when it comes down to the weight loss, people always, they ask me, what did you do to lose all that weight? And I said, listen, at the end of the day, it came down to what I take in and what I consume. They think it's a magical thing and not catered to me individually. So can you just talk about, I guess, making it an individual journey as far as eating and exercising and so forth?
So thank you for sharing that. I tell people, get a hold of your health. And if that means gastric bypass, if that means a sleeve, like if like I got to do something and I know I'm not going to work out, I know I'm not going to change my eating habit, then constrict the stomach and the large intestine, because that's a start, right? But there's a work process that goes into it, and you just have to get into self-love. Look in the mirror, think of yourself, picture yourself, and think about how much you love yourself. All right, nobody's perfect. We're all basically good people. And I know if you know JB and you know Rob and Joe and stuff, then you're all pretty good people. I know that. And Loretta, just from, your post and things, positive people. So see yourself, feel yourself, because it's important, because then you're going to give to yourself. Sometimes we do things for, I might be, doing something for JB. Oh, he needs this. Let me get him this. Let me get him this. And I might be running myself down because that's my friend. I got to do for my friend. That's great. But don't forget about you, because I can't help my friend if I'm incapacitated. So I got to be helping me to be able to help my friend. So we lose that. It's a journey, but get your mind in gear by saying, I'm going to start gifting myself because I'm worth it, because I love myself and I love what I do for people, and people are dependent on me, be it child, loved one, or friend. And if I'm not okay, I can't even give out to them. So that's the pinnacle of beginning to get your health together, is how you are feeling about you. Thank you, Rob. But you've got to start with loving yourself. It sounds a little self-serving and selfish, but actually, Will Smith said this, if you're on the airplane, the first thing they tell you to do is put the mask on yourself. Because if you're getting it on your kid and your other kid and your mom on the front seat, and then you're going to run out of oxygen because you didn't get rid of you. I mean, you didn't take care of you. Got to put it on you first. Now you can make sure it's on the kid and it's secure. You can make sure it's on this kid and secure. You can lean over the front seat and get mom and make sure she's secure, or whatever. But it starts with you.
Yeah, I had to learn that. And, my even choosing to do the gastric sleeve was because I was working out, I was walking miles, and I was praise dancing, but then I had a knee injury, and that just stopped everything straight away.
And sometimes everybody who's saying thank you, you're welcome. And we'll be doing it again. Sometimes when we have an injury, we say, oh, well, I've done it myself. It's like, as soon as I get better, then I'm gonna get back on it. But you can always be better by eating the foods right. You can start there.
Definitely.
And if you fall off, don't beat yourself up. Put a date on it. Okay. Put it next week. I'm gonna start. Thanks. We just came through the holidays. Thanksgiving weekend's a wash for me. But I'm already thinking Monday. I know that now if Monday happens and we have to end up going somewhere or something happens, it's already in my mind Tuesday. Because then you create a sense of urgency in yourself. I got to get back on it. So just keep moving your date. It's just like a business plan. The business, you have a deliverable to your boss, and then you're like, it's not going to be ready by Wednesday. And they'll say, okay, when do you think it'll be ready? And you'll say, probably in 2 or 3 weeks. That's your next deliverable. Make deliverables for yourself to your health.
Definitely. Kyle, thank you so much.
Everybody, thank you.
Yeah, I know
Thank
Kyle
you.
has to go. I have some more information to give out, but Kyle, I know you have to run out. Thanks again.
You're welcome, Janice. Say hello to everybody for me.
What's your number again in case people need to reach out to you?
Sure. 973 418 4135. And you're welcome, everybody. I appreciate your love, everybody. I love you right back. And or James has my number.
Yeah, I'm actually going to share that here because again, we have people that are going to be watching this from other countries, so it's not just the people that are in this room.
Yes.
So for those of you that don't have the Fortify podcast on Instagram or on Facebook, please like and subscribe to those channels because I have exclusive information on there. So that's my Instagram page at Fall to Rise Pod.
Yeah. And again, I covered at the beginning, my website is under construction. In about a week or so, it'll be up, and I'll be passing that on to JB. So I'll
have a link up for everyone. So the link will definitely be up for
Thank you. Be well, everybody. You're welcome, Marlena. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Take care, JB. We'll talk.
Definitely. Thanks. You can also check the Fall to Rise podcast Facebook page. Again, this is just in case you need to get in contact with Kyle, because again, I know Kyle has to go. So
I'm sorry, JB. Let me just kind of really quickly.
Sure.
Monday through Friday, I give free tips on health on my Facebook page, Kyle Toms. I'm on Facebook. That's up. I give that every week. Go on, send a friend request. I'll accept it, and you can go and do the whole thing if you want to get tidbits. I pass that on out of love to the community and to people. Free tidbits Monday through Friday on health.
Hey, Kyle.
Yes.
Kyle, I've been reaching out to you because maybe you could do an article for the magazine. But I reach out to you.
Is that Loretta?
No, in Dream. Queen Diva.
Queen Diva. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's connect.
Okay.
I'll connect you guys.
Okay.
I'll connect you too.
Okay.
All right.
I'll definitely connect you too.
Be well, everybody. Be safe.
Definitely. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you, JB. Thank you, JB.
Thank you. All right. So we just have a couple things we have to, some information I'm going to give out to everyone for next week's show and for upcoming shows. Again, I really want to coming on. I want to thank you all for checking in. Please like and subscribe to the Fall to Rise podcast or Fall to Rise pod Facebook or Instagram page, because there's a lot of exclusive information that's going to be up there. I'm going to have contact information for my guests because I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to have questions for Kyle coming up. It's very, very important. It's just a good way to communicate with everyone. On my end, it's going to be a very, very busy week for me next week. So that's another reason for you to like and subscribe, because we're doing some things next week with the Fall to Rise podcast we've never done. I'll call next week my marathon week. So I'm actually going to run in order of the different shows that I'm doing next week. I, along with my guest, Legend Damian Simmons, co-host Legend Damian Simmons and James Grant, co-host the Extreme Truth podcast. It's another podcast, a little bit different than this one. It's a lot realer. We cover a lot of things, maybe a few 4-letter words in that one, but it's definitely an open and honest, raw discussion. Next week's topic is going to be child support, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So we're really going to delve into child support, into how it affects people. Is it at times abused? Your own personal experiences with it. So we're definitely going to cover that. For the first time ever, next Friday, I'm going to do a bonus episode of Fall to Rise. I know that I've missed several episodes over the past couple of months, and I've been telling people I'm going to do a bonus. So next Friday, for the first time ever, I will be doing a bonus episode of Fall to Rise live from Thailand. So the time is going to be a little bit different. The time is actually going to be at 9 p.m. Friday. Friday, I'm actually going to be interviewing my guest, Sherry L. She's a Black woman from Philadelphia that moved to Thailand, and she's living her life freely. And that's what next Friday's topic is going to be about. It's going to be about just living free. There's a lot of us here that don't live the lives that we want to live or the lives that we deserve to live. We try to fit into this small circle, or we try to live a life that society tells us to live. And like Kyle said earlier, a lot of us aren't happy. So she made the decision to move out to Southeast Asia. And she's going to talk about how it was the best decision of her life after overcoming multiple bouts with depression and a lot of trauma in her life. She's really going to talk about how to live your life freely, how to live your life happily, and how to enjoy your life. Now, next Saturday, we're going to be right back here at 3 p.m. and we're doing an interesting one. We're actually going to discuss psychics and tarot. I'm going to have a guest on who's very good with tarot. That's a clairvoyant. Also, you may know as a psychic. And we're actually going to have her do a live reading of an audience member. I don't know who the audience member is going to be yet. I'll let her pick them at random. But you really, really might want to check in for that one next week, because I've never done anything like this before. And she's very good. I'm naturally a skeptic. I'm naturally a skeptical person with everyone. But the first time that I spoke to her, she told me about something that had literally just happened 30 seconds ago. And the second time that I spoke to her, she told me about something that I had literally, a decision that I had literally just made 2 minutes before that no one would have known. So please check in next week. I know I'm going to be tired next week because, as I said, we're doing 3 shows. Again, the Extreme Truth podcast is first. That's going to be Monday at 8. If you need information, you can screenshot this. You can also check the Extreme Truth Instagram, Extreme Truth YouTube channels. Please like and subscribe, because we're going to have some exclusive things on the Extreme. We're going to have some exclusive things coming out from Extreme Truth in the very near future. Please like and subscribe to the Fall to Rise podcast YouTube channel, because again, we're going to have some exclusive things coming up really soon. Like I said, this week, this is going to be the first time ever that we're doing a show from Asia. So the link is actually in the chat. So it's actually going to be Fall to Rise. Sorry. It's actually going to be, hang on one second. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. It's going to be a Fall to Rise podcast on YouTube. So again, if you're not subscribed, please like and subscribe to the page. Also, please like and subscribe to the Extreme Truth podcast page. So before we hang it up, are there any questions that anyone has for myself regarding the 3 shows, or that you would like for me to pass on to Kyle? Because I'm probably going to talk to Kyle when this is over. So any questions?
No, I'm going to connect. You already did a connection already, so I'll take it from there.
Got it. All right. Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question.
Sure.
Which one of us do you want to go first?
Chris, I think you went first. So.
Okay. For the podcast this week, for you and the guest from Thailand.
Yeah.
Also the one on child support. I definitely want to be on that one.
Okay. Well, do you need the information again to log into both shows?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you able to screenshot from where you are?
Huh?
Are you able to screenshot, or do you just need me to send it to you?
I'm driving right now.
Okay. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, just send me the information, and I'll log in. You just give me a call beforehand, and I'll set up so I can log in and sit down.
Sounds good. Yes. So I'll make sure that you have all the information, and please feel free to pass the information on to others. That's really how we grow.
I added you. I was going to ask you, is it okay if I create a advertising clip it from my webpage for your show?
Sure. We'll definitely talk. We'll talk offline. But yeah, I have no problem with that. But yeah, we'll definitely talk offline. Okay. Yeah, and again, everyone, please like, subscribe, share. If you like the information that you're getting on here, if you like the topics that we're covering, share it with others. That's how we grow. That's how we do new things. That's how we expand as a business. Share it. Tell your friends. Tell your family. Tell people to log in. Tell people to follow us. If you have any ideas, you can follow us on the Fall to Rise Pod Instagram, Facebook. Most of you have me on my personal Facebook page. Or you can email me at falltorisepod@gmail.com, or even with Extreme Truth. You can follow us on the Extreme Truth Instagram page, as well as the YouTube page and the Facebook page. So does anyone else have any other questions? No. All right. Just as a heads up, Queen Diva does have a magazine, Unique Blends magazine. If you get a chance, please purchase a copy of her magazine. Joseph Hogue he's the leader of the He Said, She Said relationship ministry. He actually just had a show this morning. So once again, kudos to you, Joe. And Dro has soaps. It's called Poisoned. What is it called? Poisoned something. I'm drawing a blank.
Sweetly Poisoned Shops.
Sweetly Poisoned Shops on Instagram. So again, please like, subscribe. Let's continue to grow and let's help each other build. So again, I'm sorry.
James, to piggyback on that, also, if you have a company or business that you want to advertise, reach out to me. You know what I mean? And we would take it there too as well.
Definitely. So for everyone here with the Extreme Truth podcast. I'm your host, James Brown. Thanks again for coming on.